to see you in Barcelona here at Reshape Conference. So for those who don't know, can you talk about how you describe yourself when people say, what do you do for a living?
Okay, so I'm a cyborg artist, and for many years I used technology into my body in order to extend my sense of movement.
And so I was with the understanding that you had an implant at one point in your elbow, is it? And do you still have it? Maybe you could explain what it is, what it does.
Yeah, so for the last almost 7 years I had some implants in my feet because I changed it that were connected to online seismographs and allow me to perceive the seismic activity of the planet in real time through vibrations in my feet. So whenever there was an earthquake somewhere in the planet, I would feel a vibration inside my body.
And does the strength of the vibration correlate to the intensity of the earthquake? How does it work?
Yeah, exactly. So if the earthquake was very big, the vibration I felt was bigger. But overall, all the vibrations were very settled.
And did it hurt, the process of getting an implant?
Well, I mean, the implant you have to do a little cut, so of course that is a bit painful.
Were you awake?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it's just a little cut under the skin and then some stitches. And that's maybe a bit weird and painful, but then the vibrations and everything is not. It's just maybe it's weird to keep feeling or to be able to get used to feeling all these vibrations because the earth moves a lot.
And that was going to be my next question is, what does it actually feel like?
So yeah, I had to get used to feeling all these vibrations, but at the end it was kind of normal, and a way that I have to describe it is it felt like a new beat that I add in my body. So apart from my heartbeat, I had this earth beat. So this extra beat having the rhythm of the earth itself shaking.
And so we talk a lot about how technology has divided us. Everyone's walking around, their hand is in, their face is in their phone, and we're somehow not connected anymore. But you've managed to use technology in a way that connects you to the earth in a way that it was never before possible. So what do you think the possibilities are for technology to connect us?
I think it's a human choice to use this technology in that way. So I think we have many possibilities. For me, it's exciting because I feel like I can rediscover our planet and starting new connections that before I didn't have. So I guess then rather than using technology as an external or something like to look at the screens, maybe to integrate it more, then you wouldn't block your already natural senses.
Yeah, and so is the human body the next interface that we should use to interact with technology? Are we moving away from screens and more towards implantables?
I think so, especially, I feel like now maybe it's weird for the older generations, they find normal that there's a screen or like people are scared of using the body, but actually for beautiful things, people do like very extreme things to their bodies. So we shouldn't.
For beauty, we do very. Yeah, it's true. There's already a level of augmentation that happens with plastic surgery and with
like the nose little, the boobs bigger. So it's like people do already very extreme things to the body. It's not that we do something very extreme compared to them.
And it's also interesting because if somebody has what we would say a disability, and they have a surgical process to change it. So for example, if you can't hear and you have cochlear implants to make you able to hear, we don't think of them as a cyborg. But for some reason, if you're doing something that's extra, that is beyond human ability like yourself, we use this word cyborg. So what do you think about this word and how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think for me, cyborg is an identity. So even if you don't have technology in your body, you can identify yourself as a cyborg. For example, I have a friend that says that everyone is a cyborg because we have a satellite going around the Earth that works as our third eye. So everyone has a third eye on the space. So we are all cyborgs because we extend our sense of vision. So I think it's an identity. And also, actually, this word was created for some scientists in the NASA, and actually it was created to define people that modify themselves in order to survive in space. Mm-hmm. So I think since from the science fiction movies, this word has been used in wrong ways. Actually, we went to meet Manfred Klein. He was one of the persons who coined this word.
I remember, yeah.
And I was very excited. And he was very upset actually with the science fiction movies because he said he was very upset that they use it in this way, no, the word that he created. So I think we use this word to unite ourselves with cybernetics, to modify ourselves, but to understand better the planet we live in.
And you're also doing work with the Cyborg Institute, your foundation, to help people to cyborgs and empower that kind of terminology. So tell us about your work with the Cyborg Foundation.
Yeah, basically, 9 years ago with Neil Harrison, my friend and I founded the Cyborg Foundation. Basically, we had 3 aims. One was to help humans to become cyborgs. The other one was to defend cyborg art as an artistic movement, and also to defend the cyborg rights, the right of being able to design yourself. And yeah, what we do now, recently we have a lab in Barcelona, and there we create new sensors for like all artists or people that want to extend their sensors. Also we give workshops and talks all around, and we collaborate with different universities and institutes.
And so how many people have actually gone through the process with the Cyborg Institute of getting an implantable, whether to make art or whether just to have extra senses?
Not that many actually. I think it takes a long time, especially it's a long process for me. For me it's not something that you buy. Well, maybe you will in the end maybe you will buy it and you just put it. But actually, what we encourage is that there are many things that happen around us that we don't perceive, and then this is like the exciting thing about it. Everyone can decide what do they want to perceive, or what organ do they want to have. So for me, at the end, because I'm a choreographer, I was dedicated to movement. At the end, I end up perceiving the movement of the earth. But for me, it was color and time. For another friend, was atmospheric pressure, because he relates a lot to the rain and to the water. So I think everyone, first of all, has to decide what they want to perceive, and then go to the whole process to think how, and then what body part to create. So it's a long process, and not many people want to do that.
I'm going to ask you one last question. It's not a very sexy one. I know you probably get asked this all the time, but what about the ethical implications? So Elon Musk talks about how we're creating with augmentation this next kind of superhuman with cybernetics and with extending the senses, and he worries that it's the financially poor who are not going to be able to keep up, and pretty soon we're going to have regular humans and then superhumans, and there might be a kind of clash of civilizations, so to speak. What do you think about that?
This could be a way, but I also think that actually if everyone can decide how they want to perceive, it also creates more empathy. Now, for example, I feel more related to Earth because I can feel that how alive our planet is, and also makes me wonder how we have built our cities and how we live. Like, for example, it doesn't make sense to live at the edge of the tectonic plates that actually are very dangerous places to live. No? So maybe by extending our senses and understand better the planet we live in, maybe we will create more empathy towards the Earth and also towards other species, and not feeling superior to them, but also like more like the one-on-one.
Connected, yeah.
So I feel I hope that this actually creates more empathy, and also to have a more diverse society. I think is something good, not bad. I don't think that adding technology makes you superior. For me, maybe for some people to feel all the earthquakes is something bad. To be good or bad is something very subjective. For me, it's just an experience of the reality. And everyone experiences the reality in a different way because of our senses and how our body are. And I think to level this in a better or worse, this is not the ethical thing. I think it's very subjective. And about the money, for example, the technology that we use to do sensors is not expensive at all, and actually I'm very impressed, like especially now in the schools,
how accessible it is.
Yeah, the teenagers can do Arduinos, and with very simple things you can already experience reality in a very different way. I don't think rich people are becoming cyborgs. It's more for the emails that we get. It's like teenagers that are curious about the reality. And actually, the more they know, the more we can hack and take and make this technology as more like available to the people.
So let's hack the human body.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.